What is up, Terps fans? Welcome back to another Fear the Podcast. I'm back from vacation. I'm rested, refreshed. I'm ready to talk Terps basketball. I did need a little bit of a mental break here, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate to, given how the season is going. I'm just going to totally flush their West Coast road trip and pretend those games didn't happen, so there won't be postscript, recaps for either of those two games. You know what happened? Our Terps are 0-6. I think anybody who didn't see those games can read between the lines there. Maryland is 7-10. I had high hopes for this season. I thought optimistically this is a team that could get all the way up to like sixth in the Big Ten because I thought it would be a little bit of a down Big Ten. But I thought like 9 was realistically about where this team could finish in the conference here. And boy, was I wrong. The Terps 0-6 in the Big Ten Conference are about to take on Penn State, 9-8 overall, 0-6 in the Big Ten Conference. This is the battle of the bad, and the one thing that sustained me through all the years of Maryland being bad at football and Penn State pummeling them was at least Maryland would always have a better basketball team at the end of the year. Penn State might like sneakily play well because it was their Super Bowl and beat us in a basketball game, but the Terps would always be better on aggregate. I'm worried that's not the case this year. So Maryland win this one for pride and bragging rights perspectives, because other than Indiana, the Penn State fan base is my least favorite. Sorry, Nittany Lions fans listening to this. Just the ones I know in particular are insufferable when it comes to those two teams taking each other on. So the game is January 18th. That's this Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time in Xfinity Center. I will be back in the building there. My wife wanted to see them win one game this year, so I said Penn State is probably our best chance, so she's coming with for that one. It's Hispanic Heritage Night, so obviously can't pass up that one because there's probably some giveaway that comes with that. Love a good giveaway. The Terps are 18-15 all-time against Penn State after last season's 68-64 victory up in their house. The Terps are 11-2 all-time against Penn State in Xfinity Center. Yeah, the Terps are 11-2 against the Nittany Lions in Xfinity, or including 7-1 in Xfinity Center. That's the home record there. So, let's see. So Maryland has to win this game. This is a must-win game for a Terps team that has not won a Big Ten game yet. If you do not win this one, buddy, it's gonna be a while here. The Terps' next couple games after that, they're taking on a lot of ranked teams. Illinois, they got to take on the road. Michigan State, they got to take in on the road. There's the Purdue game. Like, this could get kind of bleak here if we can't pull this one off. So, you know what to do, Buzz. Like, dip into your bag, whatever you need to do, find a way to pull this one out. Penn State is a little banged up, which may actually help Maryland, which is crazy to think that Maryland needs Penn State to be banged up to have a chance to win a Big Ten game. But again, that's kind of where we are. This is the worst start in league play for a Maryland team since they started 1-5 during the 2021-2022 season, and ultimately that year finished 7-13 in Big Ten play. So this is bottom of the barrel for our Terps team. So we'll see how it goes. A Potash, a few weeks back there was chatter about big news coming with Theo Edema or Bina Akizi, and nothing since. Any insights? Maybe on a related note, any info about Farel Payne this year or next? So I do not have anything on the recruiting front. Because I've been away, I've not been able to bring Colby or Jack or Jeff in here to talk recruiting with us. That is on the plan in the docket here to line up soon. So I stay tuned. Maybe we'll just do like a separate recruiting one, or a post on IMS about doing a recruiting mailbag to get that going. So we'll see. Andrew Potash, Gravis will be in the building. Any eligibility left? Yeah, that would be nice. If we had this 5-5 rule, maybe he could somehow find a way to get a gray shirt, or I don't know how this shit works anymore. It feels like if you just sue the NCAA, they'll let you play indefinitely. So yeah, it'd be sick to talk to him. I'll see if I can find him after the game here. Graves has always been very nice to me, so I'll see if we can sneak in a few minutes with him just to get his take. Hopefully after a win. People always want to talk to you more after a win. Funny how that works. I just want to talk something about Buzz. Something Buzz said a couple weeks ago here. In some ways, I think we've stopped losing, and we've had momentum in the process of all of this. We just haven't had momentum in the results. That was after a 18-point loss to Indiana on January the 7th. That just fucking breaks my brain. Spoiler alert, if you're watching with the car, with kids in the car or something, rewind and I don't know, mute some of this here. I should have put like the unfriendly language warning on this one, but just that's just an insane thing to say when you know you have a rabid fan base, or maybe he doesn't know he has a rabid fan base. I don't know. Like, I like to think we're a smart fan base overall here. I understand coach speak. I understand that he speaks largely in riddles. It's like reading The Hobbit and listening to Gollum just speak only in riddles. Like, I don't know what half this stuff means. I'm not smart enough personally to understand a good amount of it. I actually like Buzz overall. I know people have some pejoratives for him and some of the shtick that he uses, but I'm like actually kind of offended by that particular comment. We've had momentum in the process, just not momentum in the results. Is like the most coach speak gobbledygook thing ever, and I don't know. Maybe they're like grasping at straws to find some way to frame this in a positive light. Like, what is the positives? Like he says we're making progress, but the scoreboard just doesn't say it. And Buzz Williams, I love talking about someone in the third person, in his first year at Maryland is 0 in the Big Ten. I have no justification for that other than I've just got to do better, and I'm going to try to do the best I can with the right attitude and the right tone to continue to find ways to study to help these guys. Just if you are listening to this in the chat, just tell me one thing that you think that this team has done that's been a real change of of strategy, of approach, of style. Like, what's the big adjustment you've seen for this one? It's just going to be it's going to be a long season here if they can't find a few ways for us. It's already been a long season. It's going to be a long 14 remaining games or whatever. If they can't find a way to make this team a little more competitive on a night-to-night basis, and you can't just like pray, fingers crossed, that that Diggy Coit goes supernova in another one of these games here. I mean, that's really what it seems like they're banking on in a lot of these basketball games. And I love, like, I actually have come to love Diggy. Like, not that I didn't like, I liked him before, but I appreciate that the dude has just got like some competitive edge to him and some toughness. And I know he's not consistent from game to game, which nobody's going to go for 30 points every night, but like some teams scheme to stop him better than others, but the effort is seemingly always there for the littlest guy on the court. And I think if the guys that are bigger than him and more talented than him played with the same level of competitive juice that he does on a night to night, this Terps team might be in a little bit better shape. So those nice things about Diggy being said, like, that just cannot be the hope every night, is that we find a way, or he finds a way to hit enough tough step back threes to win you a basketball game. So I don't know. The Buzz comments about needing to shoot more threes and we're getting the shots that we want is also largely infuriating to me. We talked about this on the last episode that I did. People think analytics is just more threes, like, from all over the place. I think maybe that's what their coaching staff thinks. But if you have guys that can't make them continue to shoot them, shooting more of them is somehow not a better recipe for success. You look at the UCLA game, the Terps go 6 for 33 from three in that game. That's 18%. Like, you will truly never beat anyone making 6 threes on 33 attempts. It's just, it's like a physical impossibility, I would say. And then if you go to the USC game, I actually thought the spread was a little better for them in that one. 8 of 22 from three, which is 36.5%. They were pretty clean from the line. There just wasn't enough consistent offense otherwise, other than Diggy, and there wasn't enough like defense on a USC team that like kind of didn't even play that good. Like, Chad Baker-Mazara only plays 8 minutes in the game, and they're obviously without Rodney Rice for the rest of the year here. They don't have Elijah Arenas. Like, that should not be a team that beats you by 17 points, and yet here we are. But I thought that formula was a little bit better. So, woof. Ranger 684 said 6 of 33 from three in the UCLA game. Yeah, I think that was what I said. Apologies if I read the stat backwards there or something. But hey, Potash, improving rebounding, benching Rice, fewer stupid threes. Man, the Miles Rice thing is bad. Like, it just is bad. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like, he's kind of largely just like floating out there for like 15-ish minutes a game, doesn't really do much. The turnovers are crazy. In the USC game, he has 4 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, and plays 13 minutes. That's crazy for the highest paid member of your roster that's still getting any minutes here with Farel Payne down, because I'm sure Farel was probably the highest paid member of that team. In the UCLA game, he plays 12 minutes, somehow gets up 6 shot attempts in that time, makes one of them a three-pointer, gets in 1 foul, and that's it. And then ends up just kind of sitting for the rest of the night here. So that has been just a truly unmitigated disaster. And I never was the biggest Kevin Willard guy. I obviously hate him now because I'm petty. But he did well at getting those underrated point guards coming up from a mid-major level, and that worked out for him and to his advantage. Not working out well for Buzz so far, and I'm not saying Indiana is a mid-major, but this is a guy who had success at Washington State, which is currently right now a mid-major program playing in the WCC. So that's a whiff. You've got to fix that for next year. You will need a big-time portal guard, and given where you are from a money perspective, you probably have to find a mid-major guard that's ready for a breakout. So that's the biggest thing the staff probably has to fix from an evaluation standpoint. Just going back to the Farel Payne question earlier here, he's been out officially a month now with no updates from the team. Anything that Jeff picks up is coming from behind the scenes. A lot of it is people are relying on Chris Nockey to tell them what's happening in the building, which, your radio color commentary guy being the only one to update you on injuries is kind of tough. That's one thing that bothers me a little bit, that we can't provide at least some meaningful updates about where some of these guys are from a health perspective. There are 14 games left to go in this season. They have no chance of making any kind of postseason run here, starting off 0-6, and they're 3 games below 500. Like, even if you run the table here, it would be pretty much a tough ask to even get you into the NCAA tournament, maybe even the NIT, unless they were absolutely perfect the rest of the way here. So that's how dire things are. It would be absolute malpractice, like coaching negligence, to bring him back. I mean, if he's 100% healthy and he's determined to play, and he tells you, Coach, I'm not coming back to college next year regardless, or I'm definitely not coming back here regardless, and they want to play and he wants to play and his teammates want him to play, like, do what you got to do. But if there's any world where he would want to be back here next year with the guys you presumably have coming in, and you've got a lot of freshmen that you're going to rely on with next year's group to play meaningful minutes, and a lot of young guards from this year's group going up a year, presumably if they're all back, like, having a very veteran fifth-year senior player who's real good would be a huge steadying presence here. So that's really the question. So Ranger asked, is it better at this point for him to just redshirt and carry his eligibility next year? That's what's better for the Maryland program. I think it's better for him. If your goal is to play pro basketball, putting up numbers on the worst team in the Big Ten is not a way to show that. So get healthy the rest of this year. Work on your ability to stretch the floor. I think Farel Payne is a jump shot away from being able to play some minutes at the fringe NBA level at the very least here. So that's what I'd be trying to work on if I were him. Like, that's the difference between him having an NBA career or not, I think, is the ability to stretch the floor a little bit. Is he'd be an undersized center by NBA standards, but he is a good guy to run the floor. He's athletic. He's maybe a guy who could guard a little bit in space at the pro level. So I would be working on the three-point jumper the rest of the year, getting healthy and trying to come back next year. And then here, staying in Maryland, he would have the opportunity to put up some big numbers again next year on a team that's more relevant, will have more eyes on it. Just rushing to get back out there to try to rush yourself out the door to end up on an Exhibit 10 contract to make a G League team for next year. I just don't see how that'd be valuable for him when he could come back next year and make a couple $1 million again, presumably. So that's what I would do. I hope that's what they do at this point in the season. Realistically, it does mean we have even worse basketball in store for us, because he was the only hope of them being competitive in a lot of these games they have the rest of the way. But anyway, this Penn State game is winnable. This is a Penn State team that's getting out rebounded by their opponents over the course of the year here. Like, I think there are some things you can do to make life tough for them overall here. They're not a great shooting team. They're shooting 27 field goal attempts per game. That's about the amount their opponents shoot, but their field goal percentage is not particularly good here from the Penn State perspective here. So 47% is fine, but their opponents shoot 48%. So like they shoot worse than their opponents. They get out rebounded by their opponents. They get to the line a little more than their opponents. They're getting beat pretty bad by about 4% from the 3-point line. So like teams just shoot better against them. They get the ball like on the boards more than them. Penn State is pretty good about protecting the ball. Actually, the correction to that, they turn the ball over less than 10 points, less than 10 times per game, force 13 turnovers. So that's one you got to watch for a Maryland team that's been a little sloppy and careless with the ball here this year. Penn State blocks less shots than their opponents. Like, this is just not a good basketball team. And again, I'm not saying Maryland is by any stretch if you listen to the first half of this. So it's just sort of an even playing field. I think the fact that you're at home and they may be without some guys is to your advantage here. Caden Mingo has been an absolute stud for them, averaging about 15 points per game as a freshman. Probably a guy that if they were competitive would be one of the competitors for Big Ten freshman of the year. It's probably Keaton Wagler, one of those guys at this point. But Mingo probably out for the foreseeable future. He had surgery to repair a broken nose. They just keep giving vague updates on their end. They do give updates, but they're like, he's probably out a while longer. So I would expect that. Tibor Mirtich, a big man that was starting to get more and more into the rotation for them, kind of a 6'8", rugged, dirty work guy who could have probably beat Maryland up a little bit around the rim, is considered questionable with this game with a knee injury. Mike Rhodes said he will miss some more time, so I think that probably rules him out for this one, but don't come back and yell at me if he ends up suiting up. Freddie DeLeon is the one for this one. He is their active leading scorer of guys likely to play in a game like this, 14 points per game, and he's listed as questionable for this one. He went down in their UCLA game, and they gave another vague update of like, Freddie might need some time here. So that's 3 big-time contributors for Penn State that may be out in this game, although they've been more competitive without their best players in games that they've missed than Maryland's been without Farel Payne, so they may be better equipped to survive those injuries than the Terps here. Potash, again, if there's such a thing as a trap game for this team, this is it. You're over 0-6. Every single game is somehow a trap game for them. The Mount St. Mary's game was the trap game for that one. So this is probably just like a 50-50 pick'em kind of game here. I will take the Terps in this one. I think this is an opportunity for Diggy Coit to have another big game here. I know he hasn't had like a bunch of consistent back-to-back nights, so he's coming off a big one. But I think there's a real opportunity here for him to get some shots off against a Penn State team that just not really as good as a defensive team as I thought a Mike Rhodes team would be. I mentioned the shooting percentages. They're getting outshot by all their opponents. So I think if you're the Terps, like, this is an opportunity to knock down some shots. I would love to see Darius Adams get going here a little bit, get himself back to the free throw line like he'd been doing in the UCLA game. He went 5 of 15 again. That's just brutal, man. Only 2 free throws, though. Like, he does seem to make more of the free throws than he misses, so getting him to the line would be to their advantage. In that UCLA game, Elijah Saunders had the game I expected him to have, like, more often for the Terps here with 17 and 12, 3 of 8 from 3. Having him have a big game, I think, would be helpful. Solomon Washington had a bunch of rebounds in that game. He's been pretty active here. I have no real complaints about Washington. He's not ever going to shoot it, but if he keeps giving you 11 and 8 and things like that every night, I think that's pretty good. I mentioned Adams. Only played 16 minutes in that USC game. Got to the line six times, made 5 of them, though. So had 11 points, was relatively efficient. So we'll see what that looks like. But, yeah, you just got to find a way to score some clean, non-ethical buckets and get some fouls and get to the line here. I think that's really going to be huge for this Terps team. That's really all I got for you here. I appreciate you guys jumping in the chat here and throwing some questions out there. Hopefully we just see a win. Like, going over in the Big Ten this year, that would be rough. The only other remaining game on the schedule that I have much hope for probably at this point is Rutgers. So, this is it if you're Terps fans. This is our NBA Finals, our Super Bowl, our Wimbledon, however you want to frame it. Get us a dub, Terps. And we'll be back to break this one down after the fact, probably sometime much later in the evening on Sunday. I got some stuff to do Sunday right after the game, so maybe a late night recap of this one regardless of the outcome. And anyway, we'll be back to cover more Terps basketball throughout the year. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I don't know, Not really much to fear about the turtle at this point, but hopefully fear us all next year is what we're banking on.